There's an answer to the question.
Yeah, you can go.
Answer the question.
Yes, you can go. You're live now.
Lights are up. Okay, we're live now. So I understand Commissioner Beatty will be here any second, but essence of a few minutes late, let's get started. Okay, here we go. Go ahead.
Good morning, Chairman and Commission. That's the agenda review for next Wednesday, May 24th meeting, and I'll let Nicole start with any county announcements.
Good morning, commissioners and leadership. We will have a video for Older Americans month. We will have next week is EMS week and Public Works week. So we will talk about that. And then May is also Mental Health Month. And so we will have Joan here from ComCare to talk about that. And that's all I have.
We have two proclamations. One's World No Tobacco Day and the other is EMS week. One appointment to make, which is our, by my math, our final appointment that is commission appointed to the Food and Farm Council. Now, there are two at-large appointments that the body has to pick, and we'll get some names to all of you to consider for that. And then that will fill that council. So under new business, just some good news stuff. It looks like to start off with, we have the presentation of our mini MPA certificates for county employees. We usually send 10 or so through that. So Dr. Walker will be here to honor those people. Dr. Utash from WSU will be here. Same kind of good news to announce signing day at WSU Tech. AJ and Lindsay will co-present the Intrust Bank Arena report for item F. And then G and H are solid waste items. Letter G is the policy, and letter H is the financing and the fees for it. And as if you're not going to get enough solid waste on G and H, we're on Monday's staff. Susan will be here and talk through this as well and take questions from commissioners. So you will.
So we can hash this out on Monday.
Yes, that'll be your first opportunity, and you can hash it out again during the meeting, of course, but she'll be here twice.
All right, 'cause I've got a ton of questions.
Very good.
Thank you.
And then bids, board and bids item I, the consent items. There's 3 easements, J, K, and L. Only 2 have a fiscal note. Item K has a $1,400 fiscal note on a drainage project. And item L has a $6,000 fiscal note on work down along Webb Road between 79th and 87th. Lynn is here if there's questions. I do want Lynn to talk about items M and N. Those are both items where we're moving county roads back into township status. And I would like him to talk through just kind of process there on those 2 items.
Both these items are new subdivisions. Streets have been constructed within those subdivisions. The first is item M, which is Brush Creek Estates in District 2. And those are brand new streets that are being handed over to the Illinois Township system. As you may recall, Sedgwick County Public Works does not maintain local streets. We maintain the arterial and section line streets, and none of the all the local streets are assigned to the appropriate township. Item N is in Nancy, is in District 4, and that is for Barnhart's Estates Edition. And again, that is a new subdivision with new streets that have been approved by Public Works and will be assigned to the Grant Township system.
Do those have fiscal notes on them?
They do not.
Item O and P are both MAPD items, and I've got Scott at the table to address O for sure. And then if there's any questions on N, which is a more simple zoning change from SF20 to office warehouse, commissioners can ask questions. So Scott, let's start with O.
Sure. On item O, it's a cell tower
But this one, I know, I'm a little nervous about mentioning that.
Five, too.
I know, but what I guess what I can tell you is that this one has not been controversial. There was one individual who showed up at the MAPC meeting, and it was more just general questions. This one happens to be in a location that is in between Derby and Mulvane's growth areas and areas of influence, so it was not reviewed by either of them. So that's why it's on the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Any questions on item P? Also, while Scott's got the mic.
If I could, sir, on item P, this is one that you had seen before that has been deferred. What I would request is, if it's possible, if we could hold off on considering this one. We've not been approached by the applicant on it, and I would still like to have an opportunity to brief you on the relationships between platting and zoning, because I know that that was a question that this one prompted. So I'm sorry about the late
That's no
notice on
problem.
that.
That's why we have a review.
Mr. Manager, when was this originally come before the county?
It's a case from 2007, and it was considered then, and it was approved. At that time, there was a policy that required that platting needed to be done within a year's time. That policy has been done away with, but since this case was originally approved back then, it still has that requirement. So they are coming forward asking for that to be waived in this instance. It brought up questions about platting and the timing of platting and when it might be required for development like this. So we would like to be able to just do a dog and pony show with you to kind of explain how that works. And just so you know, we are making progress on that way to staff meeting to go over what the agenda would be to run through that information with you.
Thanks, Scott. It's helpful.
So we're gonna by consent agree to this? Is that what you're asking us to do?
No, defer.
Actually, today I'm asking for it to be struck from the agenda because I'd like to have more time to answer
Okay.
any questions and go over it with you.
Because I still got questions.
Yes, sir. And hopefully we'll have the answers for you.
Thank you.
Item Q and R are community service kinds of agreements or extensions. Q is the transit agreement between the county and the city to provide bus service to and from Oaklawn. There's been some discussion also. Tim will begin dialogue with the city of Derby to see if there's some type of way to get Oaklawn people into Derby to do some basic shopping that will be separate and distinct from this agreement. So this is the extension of that. Commissioner Howell, did you have anything more on that?
No, I just wanted to elaborate on that point. Now, is this the money that was earmarked and approved in last year's?
Yes.
So current year's
40.
budget?
42,000 and some, yes.
Okay, and just so everyone knows, yeah, I think that the contract may have changed over the years. And it's not providing currently a piece of the service that was initially negotiated between the city, Oaklawn, and the county. And so unfortunately, it's a little bit short on what it needs to provide. So I have some concerns. I don't mind doing this contract, but I'm curious if we want to make some changes to that. Does this tie our hands?
This is the funding agreement for current year 2023. So they've been operating under the last contract that we had. We renew this contract annually. And so this will lock us in through the end of 2023. But as I mentioned yesterday in a conversation with you, I'll work with Annette to see if we can't figure out alternative solutions with Derby as well.
All right, thank you.
And while Tim is here, also item R is an extension, an amendment extending the term of a HUD Continuum of Care grant. This is a grant that provides permanent housing and is designed to promote residential stability for those with persistent severe mental illness. I think the fiscal note on this, I don't know, there's no GF tied up and it's all grant. It's a little over $1 million. Any questions on that? For Tim? None. And then finally, item S is a road improvement, the designation of a benefit district in the Drader Estates Edition, which is in District 3, permission to do that. No fiscal note for the county on that either. Right, Lynn? And TUV are just routine. There is a fire agenda. that has just a board and bids of contracts, new business item on. And that is a summary of next week's meeting.
I have a question on item L. This is a impacker question, I think. Is this related to that addition to the east only, or does this have anything to do with because I mentioned 79th Street, so that doesn't go through. I'm just curious if there's any. What is this?
This is in relation to the partnership we have with City of Derby and the developer of the adjacent subdivision to pave Webb Road between 87th, 3/4 mile to the north.
Okay, so there's no discussion happening now for the area that's closed north of that.
At this time, no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for anybody?
That's all we had, Chairman.
Don't see any other electeds here in the audience, so. Okay. We will see everybody have a dry and or a wet weekend. We need the moisture. All right. We'll see you. Thank you.